want to thank Haps. This is a good app to go on. I want to endorse them and say, hey, good job so far. Um, today, I want to talk about not allowing people to live out their lives through you. That a lot of times what I see when I'm dealing with people is that they are allowing people to live out their lives through them, meaning that that person has set some standards, some levels of achievement that they're trying to live out through that person versus achieving it themselves. And what normally happens when we try to live vicariously through others, we actually damage that person that we're trying to live vicariously through. And you say, well, Pastor, what do you mean? I mean, like this. Let's say there was a goal that I was preparing for. Let's say to be an astronaut. And let's say you thought that I should be an astronaut and that you felt that your worth, your bragging rights was in me being an astronaut. Every time you talked to somebody, you told them what I was going to be and how I was going to do this. And then as life goes on, I really didn't prepare myself for that. So put a pin in right there. Don't be mad at yourself for what you didn't prepare yourself for to do. Don't let other people, this is part of that. I'm going to take the pen out now. Don't let other people dictate to you where you should be based upon their opinion of you. Because what ends up happening when you disappoint them and when you don't reach what they think you should do, then what ends up happening is you end up being depressed while they've moved on. And they'll wonder, well, why are you so depressed? I was behind you 100%. But there's a difference between being behind somebody and dealing with the ebbs and flows of life and the twists and turns. Then you're so focused on their goal that they're not committed to. Sometimes you need to let people be. Of course, you want the best for them. You want them to achieve some things, but it can't be such a pressure that when they don't achieve it, they felt they let you down. And therefore, they spend the rest of their life trying to seek approval from you. At some point in your life, you have to seek your own approval for your own self and therefore make yourself happy and surround yourself with people who accept you for whatever level you on. Everybody can't be an astronaut. Everybody can't do what they say they want to do. You have to put in the work. You have to, my favorite slogan, CAR, you have to be committed, accountable, and responsible to go to the bar. Benefits, awards, or achievements and rewards. Committed, accountable, responsible to receive the benefits, the achievements, and the rights. You have to start there. You can't let people push you in a direction that you're not ready. And you have to be comfortable with that. And the people who push you and you're not ready, you need to simply remove them from your life. I always tell people, some people you can't take with you over there because they were only supposed to be in your life for a certain amount of time. And a lot of times what ends up happening, people end up trying to push you further than you're prepared to go. They believe that you can get there, but what happens when you can't get there, now they still have an expectation because they banked on it. They counted on it. They bragged about you. And now you've let them down. And you love them so much and you care about their opinion so much that you spend the rest of your life, instead of trying to find you, you're trying to please them. Too many people live like that. One of the lies that our parents tell us, and I know they tell us that in good and with all goodness in their heart, is that you can be anything you want to be. And that's a lie. You can be anything you prepare to be. It'd be different if I say, I'm gonna tell you a story. I met a young man a couple years back, and he was like 13. He said, I asked him, what did he want to be? He said, I want to be a football player. I said, okay, great. You want to be a football player. Then I asked him, are you playing football now? Nope. Have you ever played football? Nope. So why do you want to be a football player and you never played football? I mean, these are the kind of things, because I was told I could be anything I want to be. But again, I get when we say that, but we also need to say is you can't get there unless you prepare to be that. All the gurus, all the people you guys pay to see, all them big names you pay to hear, they already know. that they're going to give the same advice in a different package of being committed, accountable, responsible. And they know that 99% of you are not going to do what it takes to get where you want to go. And therefore, you will keep coming back to them for that shot in the arm, that enthusiasm. And as soon as they leave, as soon as the air is let out, as soon as real life hits you again, you're going to go back to doing what you used to do. And if it's trying to please others, you'll go back to trying to please others. And we need to break that cycle. And breaking that cycle means that you're going to have to step out, one, on the faith that you're going to be different. And the longer you wait to get started, life has a way of saying the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be. It's not going to be easy when you wasted so much time trying to live for someone else versus yourself. Yeah, you got to live for yourself. And then when you live for yourself and do the things that you want to do, you can help others. But if you're always trying to please someone else, mother, father, church, whoever, where are you in that? They're trying to live vicariously through you and their lack of achievement. It is so funny to go to these little league games, and most of you've been to them, whether you had kids in them or not. My question to you, I look at two different kind of parents. One parent sits back and is real cool and is enjoying their kids playing the game and knows it's a game and wants them to learn sportsmanship, learn how to win and to lose. And then there's a parent who believes that their 8-year-old is going to be a professional football player, basketball player, baseball player, and they're raging and arguing and wanting to fight over a little league game. What I found out is most of these parents who act like that, they've never played sports in their life themselves, and they actually believe they got them a superstar. Those of us who play sports, we allow our children to play and enjoy the sport. If we see that we might have played sports. My son is a big guy, and I played football, and my son didn't like football. So what? So what? I wanted him to be a well, healthy, round young man, and that's what he is. And guess what? He's never played football in his life. Because you have to let your children and people be who they're going to be. And you got to have enough sense and enough of who you are to sit. I'm going to say this. If you know who you are, you can sit back and let somebody be who they're supposed to be. I'm going to say it again. If you really know who you are, you should be comfortable enough to sit back and let somebody else be who they're going to be. They should not have to be what you think they should be based upon what you think you see in them or don't see in them. Yes, you want better for them, but the best way to get better for them is try to understand where they're coming from. Because just because you knew they were coming from when they was 12, don't mean that's the same person when they was 20. That brings me to another point. Some people like to see you stuck, stale, stagnant, and right where you're at, meaning that they cannot imagine you doing better than you're doing now, and they won't tell you that. They have got comfortable with you being right where you at. They really don't want you to achieve. They want you to stay right where you at, because then they can guide you, they can talk about you, they can manipulate you, and they can control you. A real friend, a real confidant, a real teacher, a real coach looks forward to the day that you do your own thing. At our church, I tell them to crow like they crow. And the biggest honor they can give me as a pastor, when they figure it out for themselves. They don't have to come to church. They want to come to church because that's where the fellowship is that propels them to do what they have to do for the Lord. You can transfer that to anything in life. You want to be around people that propel you, not hinder you and hold you back and talk about you behind your back, and then have these expectations that you can't live up to. And they want to, when you succeed, they're on your team, but when you fail, they leave you alone. You got to find people who understand who you are and where you're trying to go. And you got to cut the people. That's another point. Becoming an entrepreneur, which I've been, kind of still am. But the point is, one of the things I learned from a great entrepreneur who was my mentor, they told me it's not knowing when to hire someone that's the issue. You got a bunch of resumes, you do the interviews, you hire the best candidate. It's not knowing when to hire. It's knowing when to fire someone. When you start off being an entrepreneur, you try to bring your friends in, you try to bring your families in, and you might find out that that friend, that family is not supposed to be there. But because of your loyalty to them, you'll hold on to them and they'll destroy your business. purposely or unpurposely, they are the person you're supposed to let go. Learning how to let go of people is so key, because letting go doesn't mean you don't want them in your life. It just means for where you're going, they can't go, but they can enjoy the benefits of you getting there. I'm going to say that again. Where you going, they can't go. But if you get where you're supposed to go, they can enjoy the benefits too. They can enjoy the benefits too. Surround yourself with people who support your ideas. They may and people who challenge your ideas. I'm not talking about haters, but people who challenge your ideas. That actually want you to succeed, but have the questions that you maybe forgot to ask yourself. And they'll know how to bring it to you. Now, haters. Haters are necessary. The bigger the dream, the better the haters. The bigger the haters. They actually should fuel you. They should not be, you should not worry about them, but they should fuel you to go forward. If you got a good idea and it's really, really good, you're going to have a bunch of haters. If you're trying to be all who God told you to be and you're convincing your heart, you're going to have haters. You're going to have Judaizers. You're going to have ones who want to keep you in the box of legalism and don't want you to live out your life in grace. Grace does not mean that you do what you want to do. Grace means you understand the effect of grace, the gift of grace, and that it's a higher standard than law, and that you will want to do because grace is so good. There's a part in the Bible says in Romans 2 and 4 that the goodness of God should lead you to repentance. And when you understand the goodness and the grace of God, it should lead you to walk the walk and talk the talk. You don't have to be led by law, because the law can only condemn you. So let's bring it all back around. What am I talking about? Living out your life the way you need to live it out. Figuring it out for yourself. Being around people who spur you to think. Don't beat yourself up for where somebody else wants you to be. Be who you're going to be. But you want to have character. You want to have integrity. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to have some pitfalls. There are going to be some things happening to you. You're going to sin. But guess what? The Lord I serve died for all of that. And he says, if you're still breathing, get back up and start all over again and learn from your mistakes. Failure is part of the success trail. If you fail 1,000 times, you only need to succeed once. If you fail 1,000,000 times, you only need to succeed once. So use your failures as lessons on your way to success. But don't try to live for somebody else. And I'm not being selfish, but how can you pass on life when you're dead? How can you pass on experience when you've never done anything? How can you give advice when you haven't done anything wrong to learn from, to tell someone not to do? It's easy to ride to success, but it's a whole nother thing to learn from your failures. So I want to encourage you today, whoever's listening, thank you for listening. This old man. Want to shout out to Tanika Drake, my partner in this YouTube podcast. I have a podcast, Walk in Truth Radio Network, with Dr. James Sutton. You can check it out anywhere. You can just search it and it'll come up, or you can search hashtag DRJCS2. That's D as in Dr., R as in Robert, J, James, C, Charles, S as in Sam, and the number 2, and you can find me. I got encouraging words. I got Bible study lessons. I want to do what's positive. I don't want to participate in YouTube beef and all of that. If you don't like me and you a troll on. I ain't going to respond to you. Don't bother me. Just keep on listening. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll learn how to be a better troll. But I want to talk to people who are trying to go somewhere and do positive things. The world is negative enough, as we see. There's enough trouble out here. But there are some people who are trying to help other people to go places they've never been before. And they don't necessarily want to charge them an arm and a leg. It's just in their heart to see people do better. And if you do better, just a little bit better than you did yesterday, then I've done my job. So, hey, thank you for listening. Hey, shout out U-City, Class 82, all day, every day. Love you guys. I always want you to be encouraged, blessed, and be at peace. And remember, walk in the truth of the Lord.